Hey, welcome back, guys, to the Mesh Network. Subscribe and head over to the free Telegram group. Links are all down below in the description. So if we jump into the US dollar index, we can see this descending triangle that we've been watching over the last couple of weeks. As we see with this level at 101.500 is still maintaining support. We did have that break for that level, but we've not closed below. So obviously, just looking at the monthly chart, we've got 1 day left on closure. So where it's at right now, as we can see, we've had this grab of liquidity at 99.519. We're just going back looking at our previous monthly structure. So you say we had this bit of an imbalance, this gap in the market. Price has been maintaining support at 101.500 that we've been mentioning is an important level of support on a Dixie over the last couple of months, as you can see. We do have this previous level of support on the monthly. As we see in price has broken through 101.500. We've come down and we've grabbed liquidity from this area, but we pulled straight back up inside. We are still bearish on the monthly, but as we can see from this move to the downside, grab liquidity and straight away the buyers price back up. Obviously, as we mentioned, 1 day till monthly closure, but if we do manage to close around this area where we are at now, then I can see price retracing up into this descending triangle once again, perhaps start to consolidate within that area before breaking and giving us the retest confirmation before heading down lower. So if we go down into a weekly chart, so as we can see, there's that break of structure. So we had this level 101.500 that we've been mentioning. As you can see, major support level on the Dixie. We did due to fundamentals last week, we did start to see over the last few weeks, we start to see this 101.500 break. It's broke down. This is where we've seen obviously the grab of liquidity around 99.519, and then we've seen the buyers come back in, bring price straight up. But just looking off this structure, we could see a retest of this previous daily weekly structure before a tight consolidation range within, let's say, 102.250 and 101.500 before breaking down, or we could see price continue up, retesting this area around 103.500 and also this descending triangle before starting to come down into this squeeze and then breaking down lower, and then we see the move to the downside. Obviously, just going off what we can see now, we can see that scenario playing out. But as price starts to open up through the week, we could see price start to fall straight down from this position. But like I say, with this descending triangle, I'd like to see price start to come up, retest that area, or come back down. So I'm still bearish on the weekly also. So we go into the daily. Yeah, so similar thing on the daily. We had this area, we had a rising channel, obviously within the descending triangle. So we were still bearish, but obviously we daily structure on the Dixie, but we had this double top at this area. We had this twice. We've tapped this area, giving us a double top on the daily, and then we got that closure below this daily trend line, and then price is absolutely ripped through. That's where we broke through that neckline. Nice, a lot of sellers selling pressure coming into the market once we broke out of that channel, and as we see, we ripped through that 101.500 area. Grab the liquidity at 99.519, and now we're starting to come up for a retest. Managed to establish resistance, but then we see closure above that 101.500 area. So, like I say, the previous daily candle as well, indicating decision. As we see the wick to the upside, wick to the downside, and that tiny body. So, just got to wait and see how we open up on the Dixie. But at the minute, we're showing bullish structure on the daily, but overall, definitely still bearish on the Dixie, and we'll wait to see if this descending triangle continues to play out and whether this 101.500 area, as mentioned, important area of support, can maintain. But that's what we keep an eye on for the Dixie.
I mean, it looks like obviously the Fed's monetary policy moves are taking effect, and inflation is starting to come down. I think the last CPI number was at 3%. So 1% off of what the target is. Just what's interesting was last week we had another bank failure, and no one's really talking about it. And it's a reasonably big bank. It's a tri-state bank, so it covers 3 states. So they've had 4 branches closed down, and the Fed stepped in and they closed it down. So the FDIC, FDIC, they closed it down. And why it's interesting is because mitigation measures against bank failures were put into place when all of this started. So these exist. They're there. So I need to do some bit more digging into why it's happened. But like the Federal Reserve's total balance sheets decreased by thereabouts $31.2 billion, and now stands at $8.243 trillion. And the securities they're holding as well, they've decreased by about 22.5 billion. Discount window is increasing. So this is all the emergency borrowing from banks to prevent bank failures, to fill those balance sheet holes. So all of these are increasing. The emergency borrowing increased by 1.77 billion. What was interesting was discount window borrowing, which is the monetary policy that was put into place, I can't remember, much long ago. I think it was in 1914. That's actually decreased, whereas the newer mechanism that was created this year, the BTFP, the Bank Term Funding Program, that's increased. So banks are tucking into that sort of, it's not even a stockpile of cash, into that mechanism to print more money. It just strikes me as odd that this other bank never did, and hence have collapsed. So there must be some other internal issue that has caused FDIC to come in and to close the bank down. But yeah, I think inflation is coming down. We're seeing it across the other asset classes. But I think that what would confirm it is really this rejection of a break of the 99.5 level.
Yeah, we got clear movement to that downside.
A huge movement downsides, but I reckon we'll probably range a lot between it. A few weeks ago, Powell came out and said there was 2 more 25 basis point hikes on the cards. They paused briefly after that speech, and since have raised another 25 basis points. So there's still another 25 basis points on the cards this year. I think it's also important to just be a bit more dynamic with what they're saying. Like when this started, they said inflation was transitory. But it's also surprising that, look, if we go by the charts, that they're getting it under control. Whether that's price manipulation or not a realistic image of reality is another topic. But from a technical standpoint, it looks to be under control. The markets are pricing it in as such.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that it for the Dixie?
Yeah, it's pretty much it for the Dixie. Just obviously get yourselves over to the free Telegram group, guys, and keep updated as the markets open through the week. That's it for the Dixie.